If you're 20 to 30 years old and you're getting lost in your fitness journey, your fat loss journey, and you just see so much information online, I'm gonna narrow it down to what's the most important so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Specifically in this video, I'm gonna get you a six-pack, don't you worry. I know you clicked on this video too because you want this superhero physique or this Baywatch physique, and let's be honest, we'll get there. You just need to listen up for a little bit. If your brain can handle a 10-minute video, maybe something like that, I don't really know. Congratulations, you're already on the way there. First of all, we're gonna go into the fact that you just probably have a surplus of body fat and maybe even a lack of muscle. And I'm not picking on you, I'm just saying it happens. This is how we start, all right? We gotta start somewhere. But instead of telling you that you just need to be in a calorie deficit and you just need to eat less and move more, how do we actually get into this state of mind that we can execute on this daily? So, because it's not the easiest thing in the world, all right? Like the concept sounds simple, but it's just not easy to execute daily. First of all, it's gonna come down to mostly habits, but we're gonna have to implement some systems to follow these habits daily. I know it sounds confusing, but I'll break it down for you just so that you can understand it better, because if I were in your shoes and I was listening to this, I'd be like, what the hell is this dude even talking about? So two systems I want to talk about are your training routine and your dieting routine. And believe it or not, there's one that has more importance over the other, because you cannot out-train a bad diet, but you can out-diet bad training. I heard that somewhere. I think it was a YouTuber who said that, but still, it legitimately is true. I love thinking of it this way. So what exactly is the importance of this peanut butter and jelly sandwich I just handed you of diet and training? Well, I'll tell you what, the training and the nutrition mostly comes down to what you enjoy the most and what you can consistently do the most. Like, what can you see yourself doing for the next 6 to 10 years? Because let's be honest, you're not trying to get the abs and then just lose it and look like a fucking loser. So like, I'm just gonna be real with you. But you are only a loser if you give up, so take that with a grain of salt. But your nutrition program is going to be mostly whole foods, because without doing this way, you're just going to hate yourself doing it. I know someone's gonna tell you, oh, you could eat a pizza and fit it in your macros or your calories and you'll still lose weight. Yeah, but dude, what are you gonna do mostly if you eat a pizza and try and fit it in your macros? You're gonna overeat it. These foods like pizza, chips, ice cream, they are formulated for you to eat more because there's something called hyper palatable foods. And believe it or not, if you ever went into a deep dive into my life, you kept a surveillance camera on me 24/7, you wouldn't actually see me eating these foods at all. And that's for two reasons. That's because one, I love the way I feel eating whole foods. No brain fog. I can record this video for how long I want. I could go on for hours if I wanted to, but I have to go somewhere after this, so that's not gonna happen. And two, whenever someone tells you, oh, just eat ground beef and rice, those are only two combinations of whole foods, and that can really get boring at sometimes. Whoa, what a fucking shock. So why not make something cool out of what you're given? See, every whole food that you have are just ingredients. Like ground beef and then rice, those are just ingredients. Those don't have to be the only two ingredients you eat. Do you see people making like these pretty overnight oats on Instagram that most likely like you're probably gonna quit doing after like 3 weeks just because it's just so inconvenient to do? That's when you switch it up. You don't have to eat the same thing every day, even though I do. One thing I did was I was getting tired of beef and rice, so I did beef and potatoes, but then I also did vegetables. And then also you could find so many seasonings and sauces you could use to mix it up. Like, it sounds boring until you actually have it and you're like, oh my god, I feel like I'm having a burger because I had beef, potatoes, shredded lettuce, and sugar-free ketchup on it. And that's a real story of something that I actually did. I'm saying if you just use a bit of your brain, you could use a little bit of creativity to find something you'd like, so it just makes it easier, all right? I know you see like Olympia bodybuilders like, I eat the same thing every day, I live in a fucking box, Jay Cutler mindset. Dude, we're not all Jay Cutler. Well, dude, if you try to go from 0 to 100, you're just gonna go from 0 to 0 because 0 to 100 is not real. So what should your training look like? What workout program, what workout split should you do, as some people call it? There's one called push-pull legs, there's one, the Arnold split, there's you can do upper lower, you can do full body every other day. I'm gonna be real with you, pick one, find one you like, stick with it, don't change it. Because when you change it, you ultimately make it harder to measure your progress over time. Think of if you went into the gym and you said, one day I'm gonna do squats on this leg day, but next week, it comes down to leg day again, I'm gonna do leg press. How the fuck do you know if you're gonna get stronger? Like, what? The best way to know if you're getting stronger is by seeing week by week if your reps go up or if you can do more weight the next week on the same exact exercise. And the thing is, it's not always gonna be fun, all right? It's not always gonna be like a Rocky training scene or a highlight reel or something like that. There's not gonna be camera crews or music around you 24/7. A lot of the time, it's gonna be fucking boring. So find that middle ground where you're like, okay, I could do this every week. But another point is, the main point of this video is we're gonna get a six-pack, right? So how are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do any ab training? My answer to that question is Do we want to? Because it goes so much deeper than that. So indirectly, your abs or your six pack will be hit with a lot of the movements you do. Because with it being in your torso area, it is used to stabilize you in a lot of the movements you do. Because it's connecting your upper body and your lower body, so it needs to stabilize you. So a barbell squat or really any sort of leg exercise, you're gonna be using a bit of your abs just trying to squeeze. But you're also gonna hear people say abs are made in the kitchen, and never do ab training because you only see it whenever you diet correctly. Which is true to an extent, because when you diet hard enough, that's when you see your abs or your six pack, because you are at a lower body fat percentage. But also your abs are a muscle, remember? So if you wanted to maximize the amount that you could actually see them, you could also train them. Do any sort of ab crunch or leg raise, something like that. Anything beyond that, I mean, you can do it. As long as it hits your abs, then it's totally necessary and it will help you get to where you want to be. But like I said earlier, remember, you have a lack of muscle, maybe a surplus of body fat, or maybe you have both, which is for the most part a pretty common equilibrium. So that means most of your training inside the gym should be about building muscle or weight training, because building muscle while losing body fat makes you look more of a chiseled, defined, and it makes you look more proper whenever you actually do lose the weight and lose the body fat. Because when you don't do this, you start to look like a more emaciated version of yourself, and nobody wants that. You saw the thumbnail of the video, you clicked on it because you know what you wanted from what you saw. So don't pretend that this is you and you only want to do cardio, you dumbass. No, I'm just playing. But that doesn't mean you just neglect cardio, right? You want to do some sort of steady state cardio after your workout. 20 to 30 minutes, I would say like 140 to 150 BPM. That's beats per minute, so your heart's kind of just pumping a little bit. It's something light, all right? Just something you break a sweat with. But what trips people up normally is this nutrition plan and then this diet plan, and they combine it and they think that this is exactly what they need to do. People could be seeing a lot more benefit with their health and just their body composition, how shredded they look on a daily basis, just by improving how much activity they're doing outside of the gym as well. I'm not saying you have to run like fucking triathlons or whatever the hell you want to do, or you need to just like jump rope for an hour. I'm saying you already did most of that intense exercise in the gym. Now I'm just saying it comes down to a basic baseline level of activity you want to increase outside the gym. For the most part, for a lot of people, it's just 10,000 steps a day, and that will do enough to increase your brain health, mood, stress levels. It'll burn more calories, obviously. We all love that. And a little trick that I do when I burn those calories is I kind of use that 10,000 steps as kind of like a backup for the little snacks that I have throughout the day, because it's always going to be a little bit difficult to maintain this level of like discipline to a program, even though you will get easier with the habits that you do implement. But let's say I had like a few chips because they were just sitting there and I'm like, whatever. I did 10,000 steps today. I obviously don't rely on that every single day, and I maintain 90% of my diet every single day. But when the time comes, you don't have to feel guilty because you have that sense of security since you're kicking life in the balls. And it's not even really something we want to do anymore. I'm telling you, after a few months of just maintaining this type of protocol, you're gonna see everything you believed in previously kind of just flip-flopped. You'll want to improve more, and then whenever you see something like food that isn't really going to align with your progress, you kind of want to stay away from it. But here's the thing, you're going to have bad days. So whenever you actually do indulge in that, you're gonna be like, okay, it was nice, but I'd rather just get right back to it after that. Instead of not being able to maintain your workout program, your nutrition, and your progress, you're going to see the progress come to fruition over time. So normally when you fall off, you just go back to your old habits. And I want you to think with me here, because when you create these new habits, when you do fall off track, you'll want to go back to how good you felt whenever you were kicking ass every day. The next thing I want to touch up on is your environment and how it plays a role in achieving any of your goals, really. I say this commonly, but the most important time to use willpower is in the grocery store, because when you come home, your environment is filled with what you've gotten at the grocery store. So if you can use that willpower in that time, when you get home, you don't really have to. Because I'm sure if one of your bad habits is emotional eating, or sometimes you just binge eat just because, or you like to snack while watching a Netflix show or a TV show or a movie, what are you going to feel more guilty to snack on? Blueberries or almonds or popcorners or whatever the fuck they're doing now, or Nilla wafers, you know what I mean? And I want to bounce back to something I said earlier. I talked about how these hyper palatable foods are made for you to eat more of it. There's something so beautiful that when you stray away from these foods for so long, you actually just want to eat the healthy foods more, because how you felt and the dopamine you get of eating these foods, and even though it's endless, you start to kind of stray away from that feeling a little bit more. It's progressive. So you actually start to want to eat these healthier foods more. And it's It sounds stupid as hell right now, and I'm trying to convince you to do this, but do you want to make this easy on yourself or not? Next up, your friends play a huge role on how this is going to go. Do you have friends that are like, oh, cool, dude, you're busting out of your sleeve, your arms are getting massive? Or do you have friends that are like, dude, why are you doing that? That shit's stupid. There's two ends of the spectrum here. Motherfuckers you want to keep in your circle, motherfuckers you want to eliminate. Because when people are on this side and they're bashing you for doing something that you actually want to do, that's a form of jealousy. We know this by now. You've seen this so many times. But when you see these supportive ass dudes, they want to see you win, and you're gonna win with them in turn of this. Because with the people you surround yourself with, you guys pick pieces of little habits that you each have, and you guys all kind of become an ecosystem. So it may hurt in the meantime, but you gotta get rid of the dudes that are just trying to tear you down. No negativity, no animosity, just get rid of them, dude, and just live your life the way you normally would. Which brings me to my next point, is you want to live on autopilot. What the hell do I even mean by this? This means that knowing that what you're doing every day is going to be boring at some times, do it like you don't even think about doing it. Because the other end of this is you were thinking about it 24/7, and that means you start changing more things. Now remember, we don't want to change things constantly. Unless if it comes with like nutrition and you actually want to change the foods you eat, because it does get boring after a time, and that actually makes it more sustainable. But what are some easy ways to actually live on autopilot and kind of cruise through this and still make progress without being complacent? You want to find mini goals within your journey to actually help you in achieving the bigger goal. So this being, like I said earlier, you want to be able to get stronger every week. You don't want to just focus on getting a six-pack every day, then it's going to drain you out mentally. Or you can write down how you feel after each lift, which sounds stupid as hell and girly, and I get it, alright? But hey, asshole, look how much I write down. That was just today. And when you track the more shit that you do, you become more aware of circumstances in life that you need to improve, not just in fitness. So I know we all just want to get shredded, right? But wouldn't it be fucking sick if we just all got our mental health up at the same time? But when you have goals like this and you kind of live on autopilot, the main goal kind of just comes a little bit easier. I know, right? We all got jobs, we all got shit to do. But that's why you got to take this and apply it to where you can. Sustainability is literally the name of the game, like I said earlier. So if you want to be doing this 10 years down the road, you got to find what you can do today consistently without even thinking about it. See how all these topics I went into kind of warp into each other? For me, I know I have to work later in the day, so that means in the morning I work out pretty early in the morning. I'd say like 5 to 6 a.m. Then I'll go home, work on recording videos and content and stuff for my business, and then later on, that's the window that I work in, as in my restaurant job that I have still. But if there wasn't much of a time crunch for you later in the day, but more of an energy depletion, and you feel like you get a better workout in the morning, why not do that? But if your only option is you have to work out at night because your morning job is something that starts super early and you can't see yourself waking up a little bit earlier than that, then dude, go ahead and work out at night. But I'm just gonna say too, if you do have the opportunity to work out in the morning, I recommend it. Because working out at night, you've gone through your whole day and you have this time frame with your little energy to actually get the job done. But you could still do it. It's all still possible. And quite honestly, you might actually not have that little of energy. I just know for me, that's personally how it works. And quite honestly, night lifts are pretty awesome too, so don't get it twisted. But let's say you have a period of time where you can just work out in the middle of the day. Awesome. You don't really have to worry about this. Well, I mean, you do still, but you have a pretty cool time frame to actually get it done. So I want to wrap up everything I said in this video with this one thing. With all of these topics I brought into play here, do what you like. I'm telling you, it's important to implement everything that I said in this video, but do it in a way that you like to do it. With that being said, by the time you're watching this video, I have no idea if I'm offering anything yet, but check the description if you feel like you need more help from me, because I do plan on helping people in the future. I'm not doing this for free all the time. Regardless, I'm hoping you can take at least one thing away from this video that you can implement in your life. And if so, leave a comment, leave your thoughts, leave any sort of video you want me to drop next, because I'm here to help you guys.